All right, we are back with another episode of On the Delo. I am the Delo. Did you know that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting,
Heard
right?
the rumor.
You're like, who the hell is this guy? I've got some, I have an old friend. Not that you're old, but you're old.
We met a while ago.
We met a while ago. There you go. That works. And a new friend,
Yes.
right? Hopefully we'll be friends after this.
That was 10 minutes, yeah.
As in 10 minutes ago.
Yes.
Yeah, you flew in from Chicago for me.
Yes, this morning.
So nice of you. Oh, this morning?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no shit.
Arrived about 2 hours ago.
What airline do you prefer?
I'm a Southwest guy.
Yeah, me too.
I am.
I just booked my flight to Southwest to go see my mom.
I love Southwest.
Yeah, isn't it the best?
Now we're getting seats.
I just heard that, yeah.
What?
They're getting rid of all of like the lines, and everyone
Yeah.
gets an assigned seat now.
No kidding. Okay, this is awesome. So I literally just booked a flight on Southwest this morning, and I hardly ever fly. I fly maybe twice a year, and that's just to go see my mom in Austin, right?
Okay.
I'm not a big traveler. So I send my wife over the itinerary, and she's like, "Did you purposely book yourself at 6:15 in the morning?" And I'm like, "I get up at 4. Why? Like, what else am I gonna do?"
Yeah.
You know, she was just kind of laughing. And my mom's all like chiming in. She's like, "Oh, it's nap time on the plane." I'm like, "I can't sleep on a plane," but I booked business class, whatever that means, just so that I could be on the top 15 and then get free Wi-Fi, I guess, for
Yep.
the 2-hour flight or
Yep.
whatever. So
That's it.
that's funny. And then do you fly? Where do you fly out of?
Midway.
Midway.
Yep.
That's right. Okay.
Yep.
We'll get to what you do and who you are in a minute, but this is another great, I think it's a great story, whatever. It's my podcast, do what I want. So I went and had one of those deep dish pizzas before I got on the plane.
Yeah. How'd you feel?
It fucking crushed me, man. Absolutely crushed me. I think it was the first time I ever had to take a dump on a plane, from Chicago, Midway, back to Phoenix.
Yes.
I mean, the cheese, I was just like, never had anything like it. But I was like, I gotta have pizza while I'm, out here.
That's why you love engineers. They actually did a great job on the toilets and
in the planes?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to think as a kid when you flushed it, it just all came out the back.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People just getting hit by something random.
Yeah.
So.
God. Or it was going in the oceans that I was going to be swimming in.
Yes.
In California. Yeah.
It was all of it. So Bree, tell me, what do you travel a lot for work or no?
Not really. I'll go to and from Chicago every so often just to get in up with the team there. But other than that, I'm just kind of handling this market, and I'm here to stay. So
okay.
Yeah.
And why don't you describe a little bit like the name of the company and what you guys do and all that sort of thing?
Yeah, so I want to look at the camera.
You look
now
at the
that
camera.
you said it, yeah.
That's fine. It's on YouTube as well. They'd rather be looking at you than us, trust me.
No, so we're 41 North Contractors. We're headquartered out of Chicago. We're a commercial general contractor. We came here about 4 years ago. Our first restaurant project here was Maple and Ash, which we had built for in Chicago. And then kind of off of that project, we were getting asked to do more projects. So our ownership team, one of them being from Tucson, decided it was a growing market and kind of the perfect opportunity to kind of get in. And so they established an office, bought a home out here, and then from there we've kind of grown.
Yeah, that's really cool. And is there a marketing person in Chicago that does what you do?
Yes, there's
Correct.
multiple ones actually.
Multiple ones?
We have a few.
Okay, very
Bree
cool.
can handle herself out here. She does a hell of a job.
Yeah, no, she absolutely does. She's on it. Everything from LinkedIn to On Person to you name it. She's got her shit together,
Yes.
which is cool.
Yeah, very proud of her.
Yeah. So you're a U of A grad, correct?
No, I didn't graduate from
You
U of A.
didn't?
No. I grew up in Tucson.
You grew
I was
up in
born
Tucson. Okay.
And then moved to Chicago, raised in Chicago, kind of similar. Like
Oh,
your
similar,
background.
my
Boom,
Atlanta
boom,
story.
And I went back.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Very cool.
Yep.
So my wife was born in Tucson.
Okay.
My son just graduated from U of A with
Okay.
like a agricultural degree or
Nice.
whatever it is, and then now he's snipping and watering plants for $20 an hour, and he's like, "Why did I go to college?" So tell me about Chicago and why you like it and
Yeah.
what keeps you out there.
Well, I mean, it's a good city. It really is a fun city. It's a small, big city where it's a network city where you know people, and then all of a sudden those people are connected to friends of yours, and those friends are all kind of intertwined. The good synergy here between Chicago and Arizona, I don't know what happened back in the day, but there is a strong Phoenix-Chicago bond. Where when we came out here, it was like, hey, do you know this person? They're originally from Chicago. Or this person grew up in Chicago. Or this person's family's from Chicago. So it was a very easy connectivity, like how we kind of built the company.
It's two things. It's opposite weather times,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's spring training.
That helps.
Those, and then I guess Portillo's came out here and took advantage
Yeah,
of it as well,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So when you look at, and this is a question for either one of you, when you look at the differences in the way hospitality is run in Chicago or Arizona, what would you say are some of the bigger differences, if at all?
Chicago is a little bit more compact. So there's a lot of restaurants that are in different neighborhoods out there where you have 4 like kind of major cities here kind of combined. I would say it feels like a couple of restaurants have tried coming here from Chicago that are, like you described earlier, the pizza places.
Yeah.
And I don't think people want to eat, heavy pizza in 115-degree heat.
Right.
So I would say more of a healthier choice out here. I've seen kind of boom, in my opinion.
Okay.
Some of the stuff that I've been seeing. But you do have the synergy with some of the coffee places that we're building. It's very reciprocal between each city.
And then to his point, I think quick service restaurants have been huge out here in Arizona. We've been doing a lot of quick service. They've been expanding, especially the healthier options. Whereas in Chicago, it's more of brick and mortar, larger, more high-end restaurants, which
Yeah.
I know we have here too.
Yeah.
But I've just seen the quick service expansion happen so much quicker here.
And when we talk about construction, because that's what you all are in the business of, when you talk about doing build-outs compared to Chicago and here, obviously you have a lot newer buildings out here, and you probably have a lot of, I would assume, historical or older buildings that you have to be a little bit more careful on. I mean, is there a huge differentiation between doing work out there and out here cost-wise?
No, cost-wise, no. We were very surprised about that.
Okay.
We were figuring it would be more reasonable to build down here, but it's not.
Really?
I feel like it's so busy down here, some of the numbers can kind of be placed wherever the contractor wants. So the numbers are very, very comparable between each city.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I will say, though, the schedule, when we first came out here, we were putting schedules together, and we were probably 2 to 3 weeks off because the subs in Chicago were moving a lot faster than the sub base here. So we assumed they moved more of the same speed.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, that had to adjust when we were getting on jobs and realizing it was
Yeah.
taking 2 to 3 weeks longer. So that was a learning curve.
That was a big change,
I think,
yeah.
coming from Chicago and moving here.
Yeah,
I would assume subs are very important.
they are.
Correct.
That's who makes us.
Yeah.
So how long did it take, I mean, logically or logistically, to really make relationships in Arizona once you came out here?
3 years, three and a half years.
Yeah, because you don't
Easily.
really know from the first one that you use whether that's going to be your
Correct.
best or not.
Correct.
And we were also hiring local, which helped. So we were hiring all local PMs, all local supers. Our director of operations is local.
Yeah.
Our general super is local, who came from an existing general contractor. So they were bringing on a category of subs that they had already loved and trusted, which helped.
Yeah.
When you say local, you were hiring Arizona
Correct,
locals.
yeah.
Okay, and I think that's
That-
an important point to make, because why would a restaurant or somebody listening to this that's going to open a restaurant in Arizona that wants to use local people want to use a quote-unquote Chicago company, but you're not really a Chicago company per se, you're a Chicago, Arizona, and you
Correct.
use the tools that are adequate for each state.
Yeah, that's a better way of saying it. We are Arizona now. We're definitely
Yeah.
using Arizona contractors, Arizona people, Arizona teams. Everything's down here. Yep.
That's awesome. And again, Maple and Ash was the first one you did out
Yeah.
here? Okay, very cool. And that went very well.
Yeah.
They
it's
have
a
the
fun
fuck
little-
you menu.
They do.
Right?
I
They do.
don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck
Yeah,
menu. Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
see that posted all the time. Brilliant.
Yeah. That was a good marketing
It was a
campaign.
good marketing campaign. What was the first restaurant you guys ever built?
Ooh, it was a small restaurant chain out of Bloomington, Illinois called Biaggi's. And they gave us a shot to go ahead and refresh their kitchen area.
Okay.
It was small. It was like $15,000. And that was 15 years ago.
15 years ago.
Yeah.
And you have I looked on your, contact us sheet or whatever, and it seems like you have a pretty extensive team.
Yeah.
How many people do you have around?
There's 35 down here, and the rest are in Chicago. It's about 90.
About 90 people.
Yeah.
And how long has it been in business?
15 years.
15 years.
Yeah.
Goes by fast, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you look in the mirror sometimes, you're like, holy cow. Or you see like an old picture, you're like, holy cow. So it's amazing.
So 15 years, I mean, that's long enough to have gone through enough. And when I say enough, it's 2008 and it's COVID,
Correct.
right?
Yep.
So you survived both of those.
We've seen some shit, yeah.
Yeah. Which is kind of crazy because you're still relatively young, in all aspects of a company. So to have survived those two things and not quite be like a 30-year, 50-year, 60, that's,
I agree. We have a shirt, one of our 41 North shirts. It says like established 2009, actually.
Yeah,
is what it
okay.
says. And it doesn't look very old.
Yeah.
But the 1960, like you go to the old golf clubs and you see like 1963 or 1974.
Yeah.
That seems pretty cool. But 2009, I agree. It doesn't seem very.
No. Where does 41 North come from?
So it's coordinates on the globe. So you have 41 North by 88 West. That's Chicago, Illinois.
Okay.
So
makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a cool logo.
thank you.
Yeah. Obviously, hospitality is a niche. You guys do other stuff as well.
Yeah.
Health facilities. I think I was reading.
Office, medical,
retail,
retail,
multifamily, stuff like that. But what is it about hospitality and restaurants that just resonate that you love?
So they're a pain in the ass to build, and there's not a lot of people we feel like know how to build them.
Yeah.
And we've known how to build them since day one.
Yeah.
So we kind of came from that niche. I mean, we've done everything from a Potbelly to a Maple and Ash, totally different restaurants. But I think my favorite part is you become friends with the owners of restaurants who have come and started these restaurants.
Yeah.
You become friends with the chefs, and you build this relationship, and you grow with them.
Yeah.
And you go from one to another, or say like, hey, I'm going to do a Spanish concept, or I'm going to be doing an Italian concept, and you start building this momentum with them where you just sit in these rooms and the whole team's there, and by the time it's all over and said and done, you sit in the restaurant and everybody's eating, kids are beating up the walls and crayons and all that fun stuff. But it's cool how you watch that whole thing come to life.
Yeah, that's
And
all.
I also think your background, they've built prior to starting 41 North a ton of PF Chang's. I think a majority of what you were building at your previous GCs
Yeah.
were all restaurants, which is why you decided to do.
Yeah, we kind of came from that major chain, the California Pizza Kitchen
Yeah.
boom, the PF Chang's, Kona Grill. We built a lot of those back in the
It's
day.
not like you're an accountant and all of a sudden you're like, hey, I'm going to start a contracting company.
Right.
And
Yeah.
no, it definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
Tell me kind of the A to Z of the services and the things that you do. I mean, do you have a package in essence that, does the design also? And when I say design, not just obviously the colorful stuff like was done here in my podcast studio, but like I would assume like the flows and how things have to, happen. And I'm sure when you're designing or building a restaurant for somebody that's brand new in the business, it's a learning experience for them because it's like you probably need your dish sink over here and
We're seeing a lot of that actually right now with retail coming in because a lot of these online services, one for instance is Thursday Boots. It's an online service. It's coming to Chicago. It's their first brick and mortar, and it's really exciting actually watching this team kind of see this because they've never done anything. They're all online.
Yeah.
So when you see them saying, hey, can we remove this? I'm like, no, we can't remove this. This has been a gas line in this building since like 1945. It has to be there. But some of these things, watching those little nuances that they catch, and I just goes right over my head and that has to stay.
Yeah.
So watching the people begin at the very beginning stages is a fun part of it.
And then kind of to answer your question in terms of services, we obviously have an estimating team. In terms of the design portion, we'll typically bring an architect on board, or we at least want to bring an architect on board at the very beginning to kind of go through that process. We don't have anyone in-house, but I think it's been more to our benefit to not bring someone in-house because we're doing such different restaurants and looks, and same with the architect doing a medical office isn't going to do your Raising Cane's, and so we've been able to outsource the particular architect we like working with that is fit for the project that we're doing.
Some have a niche at certain type of restaurants. Some have a niche at totally different type of construction. So kind of pick and choose the personalities too. Sometimes when we get asked to pick an architect or engineering.
And then that goes for the trade base as well. We've never had in-house trades. Obviously, Chicago being union and then Arizona not, it wouldn't have worked. But also, there's different trade levels dependent on if you're doing a higher-end millwork job versus cabinetry in a medical office.
Correct.
So.
Okay. And what's like the most common question that you guys get every time when you sit down and have a meeting with a restaurateur? What do they want to know? What's the cost?
We always laugh about this.
Go ahead.
The very first question is, looking at this restaurant that we're at right now, approximately how much would
do
it
you
be a
think it's
square
gonna
foot?
cost? Yeah.
Yes.
That's
And it's
always.
like, we have no idea. We don't know what the finishes are. We don't know what it looked like originally. So I feel like that's a funny question we get
That's
a
the
lot.
big one, and then the second comment after that is, I'm not going to hold you to this number. That's the other one.
Oh, that's
I promise
great.
you, I'm not going to hold you this number. That's the other one.
Yeah, that's the same thing that I get in insurance. People are like, so what do you think it's going to cost to insure this thing? I'm like, what am I insuring?
Yeah.
Like how much property you have, how much in sales. No, that's great.
Yeah, that's a
actually,
common one.
That's very funny. All right, so Bree, tell me, like, Why construction? What, you know?
You know, it was almost a fluke, actually. So I had originally planned on going to vet school, and then I went the medical route and was getting my doctorate. And I have an identical twin sister who was in sales, and we're very similar personalities. And so I had decided to go the sales route. And so I just ended up on LinkedIn looking for a sales job. And my first sales job just happened to be low voltage, like fiber in the ground. So I was working for a distribution company that was dealing with a lot of subcontractors and then general contractors.
Okay.
And then from there, I kind of liked that basis of people. They're very blue collar, salt of the earth, you could say.
Yeah.
And so I liked the industry. I just wasn't sure if I wanted to be on the distribution side. And then from there, I kind of moved around until a mutual friend connected us, and then I kind of moved to the general contracting side.
Was Mike the one that hired you?
Mike and
We all did.
the two
Yeah.
partners, we had a mutual developer out here that connected us, and then
Yeah, we flew Bree up,
Yeah.
and we all met with her, and we made her an offer right there.
So,
Yeah.
Mike, like it's pretty forthcoming and I don't want to say innovative, maybe that's a little strong of a word, but it's very interesting to have a construction company that's traditionally, is it blue collar? Is that like, you know, that
We got some meatheads on the team, yeah.
yeah,
absolutely.
well, we all do, right? But to hire a marketing rep, like what was the antithesis to do that? Did that work where you guys were doing it before? Or?
Well, I was doing sales. I was going back and forth, and when I met Bree, it just like clicked. I'm like, she's got it. She's from Iowa. She doesn't say that part, but that's like a very Midwest thing, you know.
Midwest people are so nice.
They're a little different. And when we met, there was something that clicked, and I'm like, you got to come up to Chicago and meet the team.
Yeah.
And let's see if it works. And we pursued it, and now she's here.
And with 90 people employed, what would you say is the benefit for working for somebody like you? Like, what do you pride yourself on as far as like how you treat your employees, benefits you give them, that sort of thing?
I'd like you to answer that. I feel like you should answer that.
I think it's just the management style you guys have. It's we trust you to get the job done. We're not going to micromanage you.
Yeah.
If you want to take X, Y, and Z vacation days, go for it. We trust that you'll still get what you said you're going to get done. We also,
Yeah, I was just going to say, I feel like we're very fair. I think we try very hard, and we want everyone to work very hard. If you work hard, I feel like we treat you very fairly.
You treat them like adults?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, definitely.
And this is just a minor example, but I went through a rough breakup, and to a lot of people that's nothing or very minor in the scheme of things, and they had told me, go home, stay home as long as you need to go home for, work when you want to work, and then when you get back, we'll be here. And so I just don't know. I think that there's not a lot of companies that would say and do those things, and I've loved working for them because they're that way and they treat you like family. So.
Well, that bleeds down into the job that you're able to do for others because people are sincerely happy about doing it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you both say that you love about just hospitality, and not building hospitality necessarily, but just hospitality in general? What do you love about restaurants and bars and stuff like that?
It's people that want to be friendly with other people. Hospitality is about taking care of others.
Yeah.
And I feel like once you meet people that are in that realm, you become friends with those people. There's countless groups of restaurateurs that we build for in Chicago, and obviously you've met Bree here, but people and teams that we build for down here, you become friends with them. You really, really do. And I like that. I like that partnership.
Yeah.
I'm a huge foodie too, so I have always enjoyed going to restaurants and meeting the people that are cooking the food that you're eating. I've always just had a passion for it, so knowing that they did a ton of restaurants kind of pushed me in that direction. And then it's just a place that everyone's happy at. You're either there to celebrate, you're there to enjoy a meal with your family, you're there on a date. It's not a dental office. It's somewhere where everyone wants to be, and they're happy to be there. So
Yeah, you definitely build memories eating at restaurants.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's for me. It's about community and memories and
Sure.
you know, supporting local and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, no, it definitely resonates. What do you do when you're out here? Do you go look at projects or?
Me, not so much.
Yeah?
No, my business partners are out here. They do a lot of that. Director of Operations, Mike McFadden, comes out here a lot and does that. But quite honestly, I'm here on vacation.
Nice.
Right after this, I'm going on vacation. So we're going to go up to Scorpion Bay tomorrow.
Oh,
Me and my family.
Yeah.
And we're heading up to the Grand Canyon on Saturday.
terrific.
Yeah.
I got
Gonna
some
do some
friends that
sightseeing.
have a boat out there in Scorpion Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Party
trying to convince
time.
them to do the.
It
Have you
looks
done the
fun.
blow up obstacle course yet?
Have they what?
Have they done the blow up obstacle course?
Oh,
there?
I don't know that they're not that type of like
Oh.
they like have a yacht on Scorpion
Oh,
Bay. Like,
okay.
hello. I'm like, dude, you're in
Take 'em
Scorpion
there.
Bay. Yeah, they just bought another yacht in Coronado Bay. So
Oh gosh, okay.
yeah, a little
I'll be on a little pontoon tomorrow. So.
no, that'd be fun. That's great. Yeah, well, good for you. So
Yeah.
this had all worked out for you to come
It
out.
was
'cause
perfect.
you're-
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. So before we kind of leave the whole restaurant talk and all that's going on, when what are you guys looking to do in Arizona as far as growth and to promote yourself, and what sort of future plans are you looking when you kind of put this in the future mode?
I mean, I think it's just one. Having repeated clientele has always been important to me, so servicing the clients we already have. And then in terms of growth, I've been pushing to look at larger projects. For example, a 6-tenant shell building that we can obviously do the shell and site work on,
Okay.
but then also the restaurant and medical and office TIs going within them. So I think that's been a huge push on my side. And then hotel work has also been big for us. So we're doing 7 or 8 hotel projects right now, and I'd like to go more in that direction because, again, they're larger projects. We can put a PM and super on them for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
And then kind of go that route. So.
I'd like to do more golf courses.
Oh, yeah.
I like golfing
Yeah.
out here.
You like that? Yeah, that's everybody likes to golf out here. How about when it comes to like marketing and finding new business? What are some of your?
So at the very beginning, when I knew this was a new market for us, I was going to every networking event. I was sitting down with anyone and everyone that would sit down with me,
Yeah.
just so our name would have a presence here, because we had only had two projects going when I was brought on.
Yeah.
Now I think in terms of growing my network, it's just making introductions to the right people. I'm always in it to help whoever I'm sitting down with. Typically, I'll do the research to see how I can introduce them to someone that will give them business. And then the long-term goal would be that to be reciprocated back to me and get business through all of the
she's-
introductions and networks that I've had.
Yeah,
So.
full networking, one-on-ones, cup of coffees, sitting down,
Yeah.
connecting the right people with the right
Foodist
people.
Awards, things along those lines. We went to ICSC for the first time this year and met with a lot of restaurant and retail clients out there. I'm trying to think of what else I've done this past year. We've promoted ourselves more on the photography, videography side, on our LinkedIn. Our Instagram is now in full force.
Yeah.
Twitter,
Yep.
and all of those different kind of platforms, because social media, as you know, look at us, is so big right now. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think that? Actually, let me ask it this way. If I'm a restaurateur and I'm listening to this now, why would I call you to at least get a bid?
I can answer this. So I would say, one, because we've done so many restaurants, we are very good at VEing. We will spend over a year with these restaurant groups and help them get to a price point they're happy with. And because we've done so many restaurants, we also have ideas that I think other GCs don't, in terms of ways in which we can change the veneer to almost look identical to real wood, but not be, and things along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say our big thing is getting out there at the very beginning and, sitting down with the architect and saying, what's your budget? This is our budget. Okay, let's keep it contained. Let's go ahead and look through it and see if we can make this budget work.
Yeah.
If it's achievable, it's achievable. If it's not, it's not. We're going to bring it up at the very beginning. So if you have $1 million budget and you bid it out and there's 3 bidders and it comes in at 1.5, that's a big cut.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times getting in early on and having some negotiated jobs are kind of the better way for,
Right.
in my opinion, to work with it, because you're in it, you have to be in it, you have to make it work. Some of the bid jobs, we're going to bid. It's construction. We go out there and we bid against, GCs all the time. So.
And I also think it's been a benefit to have been from Chicago. I know we've called on a lot of resources, suppliers that other GCs locally aren't.
Yeah.
Walk-in coolers were big. We were getting those very quickly. SCS gear. There are different resources we've pulled from Chicago that have been a benefit to the client, especially on the restaurant side.
Yeah, millwork, some of the custom stuff that restaurants want. So.
Yeah. Well, you all have definitely put yourself out there as a very professional and together organization. And when you build things like Maple and Ash and some of these other ones that you're working on now and that you've done, is that to say if somebody has a smaller restaurant, they should be hesitant to hire you? Mm-hmm. Okay.
No, we've done, like I said, Potbelly to Maple and Ash. I mean, what else have we been doing?
We've done like a 1,200 square foot coffee.
Yeah.
We do a ton of QSR work, like I just mentioned.
Yeah.
It's one of our biggest markets right now. So we've done it all.
Yeah.
And if you can do a Maple and Ash, I mean, a smaller office is probably the easiest thing to do. So.
Yeah, when we have vinyl flooring and
Right.
drywall and ceiling tiles, we can do that all day.
Yeah, and like you've alluded to earlier, it's like, what's your budget? Let's figure out how to make this work within here. Yeah. That's interesting. And the one little thing I've learned from just design and working with remodels even at our house is like, this stone doesn't necessarily have to be expensive. Mm-hmm. It can look like this stone that you see in the picture, but it could be something, different and be a lot less.
And there's always a negotiation with the numbers. I mean, it's construction.
Yeah.
We're always able to go back and say, guys, let's take another look. Let's take another look. Let's try to get to the number that needs to be there.
Actually, that's another question. Like, how has the construction cost, come down over the years, if at all, from COVID?
Yeah, I wish I could say it has. It's kind of stayed
kinda the same.
It's kind of stayed stable until people just stop building. Arizona has not stopped building.
No.
Once that happens, then you'll see the numbers start going down. But we haven't seen it yet. So.
Okay. Question for both of you. So this is a personal question, and it's selfishly in relation to my book that I just wrote. And I'm trying to ask entrepreneurs and people, in business in regards to the things that help them get up in the morning, help them achieve the goals and the passion, to have the passion to, whether it be go to work or do the things that you love. So I want to know from each one of you, like, what is it that reignites your spark, every day, every month, every year?
I'll let you go first.
You want me to go? You go.
I think it's all about relationships. So that's my drive to get up in the morning and work for the people that I work for, is because they're great people to work with. I think we are selective on the clientele we bring on because we want to make every day a good day.
Yeah.
I'm an early riser like you, so I feel like between 5 a.m. and 1 p.m. is my go-getter time.
Yeah.
And then from 1 p.m. onward, I kind of slowly taper off, and that's when I sit and do emails behind my desk.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of coffee meetings, and again, I think it really does come down to relationships. If you're happy about the people you're working alongside, you want to work harder for them. And so I kind of think that's what drives me.
Yeah. I started this business with my best friends, and we're all completely different people. So you see what our strengths are, you see what our weaknesses are, but we've learned an awful lot throughout the years.
Yeah.
I would say I work for them, and I work for, obviously my family every day. But I think the most part is there's this like burning thing in my head every time I walk into the office. You meet the team, you see everybody that's there for you, and you think like, holy cow, we got to get out there and sell. We got to be busy, because essentially we're paying for everybody's food on their table.
Yeah.
We're paying for their meals. We're paying for vacations and stuff like that. So that kind of motivates me to just like make sure that you're always on your A game.
No, it's awesome, and I guess specifically for you, because you're older. We'll just call it as we see it. You're my age, probably 50s or whatever.
44. I just turned 44.
44. Okay. Yeah. At this point, at 44, as opposed to 20, like, do you find like yourself kind of going through a rejuvenation of life, like just?
I don't know, a little bit, yes.
Yeah.
I feel that, yeah. I know what you're saying. Like, I've gotten a little healthier over the last couple of years, for sure. But, yeah, I would say you get that stage all of a sudden, you're like, oh, I'm old now. Like, I look at things a little bit differently.
A little bit differently, yeah. Probably go to bed differently.
Oh, for sure.
Wake
I'm
up.
in bed at like 9:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's cool. It's very cool. Well, I'll tell you, dude, when I hit 50, I was just like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Like, when did this happen? And, and then you just start going down this course, or at least I did, was just all these new habits and these things. And again, reverting back to my childhood. Like, today I have guitar lessons at 3:30. I've been, that's something that I did when I was a kid, and I took it up, 3 years ago again. And every Thursday at 3:30, I look forward to that,
I start hearing my mom in my head.
Yeah.
Like after I say something to my kids, I'm like, my mom would have said something like that.
Yeah.
So that's the stuff that makes me feel old, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, cherish it and love it, and don't worry, you'll get there. All right, I have some rapid fire questions. You can both answer these. Chicago pizza or Chicago pizza in Arizona?
Oh, Chicago pizza in Chicago.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
All day.
Okay.
We do have Lou Malnati's, so that's the only one I really care about anyway. So I guess it's Chicago or Arizona, as long as it's that brand.
I always want to call it the Illuminati.
Yeah.
I have before and was
heard people say
corrected.
that.
Yeah. That's funny. Aerosmith or Van Halen?
Aerosmith.
Aerosmith.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, they retired. Steven
I
retired.
just saw that.
Yeah.
Like mid-tour, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think they
Because
were
of his
getting ready
throat.
to kick off again, but yeah, he couldn't get his throat back into.
I had the Aerosmith Guitar Hero all growing up, so I would just play that every day as a kid.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the best. Okay, would you rather give a talk or listen to it?
Listen to our own selves.
Well, no, listen
Okay.
to any sort of like an audio book,
got
or
it.
go out and give a talk to somebody.
I would do a talk.
Ooh, I'm mixed. Because I
would.
like to learn, so I'd listen to a lot of podcasts and audiobooks, but then I also like to public speak, so I think both.
This
Okay.
is fun. Like I could do
I know.
this again.
Yeah.
What about you?
all day.
Me?
I'm assuming Steve.
I love the talk. Yeah.
Yeah.
You kidding me? Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you laughing at, Daddy? Doritos or Cheetos?
Doritos.
Cheetos.
Doritos.
Come on.
Were you going to say Churritos?
Well, I was thinking of hot Cheetos, which are my actual favorite, but Cheetos all the way.
Yeah.
Tacos or hamburgers?
Tacos.
Tacos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster?
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
I
about
feel
you?
like Loch Ness Monster is like foreign. I feel like he's out of the United States.
Totally.
Bigfoot's
Yeah.
U.S. all day.
Yeah.
I'm more like aliens, And then last but not least, cold plunge or sauna?
Sauna.
Cold plunge.
Okay. Yeah. You guys are like right on the same.
Cold plunges give you that jolt of energy
Yeah.
once you're out of them. I like so.
That is so funny. Okay, I will put everything in show notes. Thank you guys for coming by. I keep these short and sweet, but where can people find you? All your Instagram stuff or whatever you want to talk about, your website, all that sort of stuff, and I'll put it in show notes as well.
Yeah, so we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on obviously LinkedIn, and then our Instagram presence is there and only growing.
Yeah, we have a YouTube channel. I think my son's the only person that's a follower, so that'd be great if we can get some.
Perfect. We can put that in the link.
But www.41northcontractors.com.
And it's 4-1.
41.
Yep, north. The other thing I was going to say to people listening as well is that, just call Bree. I mean, if you're just even considering, you know what I'm saying? Like opening something, it doesn't hurt to have a conversation
For
at the end of
sure.
the day.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And we're always willing to help. I mean, rough budgets, anything that you need.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing I've learned about you as well, and the reason why you're in here is because of the extra added value that you would give to somebody without any sort of, assumption that you're necessarily going to get something back.
Yeah.
You would love something back, but it's not an assumption that you're going to get something back. And a lot of people out here, and you've been, in the market. And so there's just people may have questions that aren't construction. You're able to help them with certain things.
Correct,
So-
yeah. Trying to connect people with the right people.
Yeah,
is
she's
the name of
always
the
available
game.
for coffee, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, especially press, because that's one of my clients, and they're really good. So, thank you so much for flying in from Chicago to come
it's
hang
been
out.
great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
for having us. We really appreciate it.
No, of course, and thank you everybody for listening. This was episode 132, and please subscribe to the podcast. Give it a 5-star. Share it with all of your friends. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Did he hand me my book? Because I want to show it to the camera. We got to be promoting this thing. So I will have a book signing party in November. Again, just getting started. Reignite your spark. Don't worry, the back will have a picture of me shirtless. That has been put together. 50-year-old shredded man. That's right. But I'm excited to launch this and get
All
it
right,
on.
now I'll order it.
Perfect. So until next time, everybody, thank you so much and peace out.
Thank you, Delo.
Yeah, thanks.